All right, today we're diving into something pretty amazing. The actual measurable power that trees have to calm us down and, yeah, even heal our bodies. We're going to get into the hard science behind that incredible feeling you get the moment you step into a forest.
I mean, we've all felt it, right? You're stressed out, totally frazzled from the week, and then you go for a walk in a park or a forest, and just minutes later, you feel better. But is that just in our heads, or is there something real, something actually physiological happening inside our bodies? Well, that's exactly the question we're digging into.
Okay, so let's get into what some are calling the nature fix. Really, it starts with a problem we all know too well. We're living in this world of concrete and screens, but our bodies and brains, they seem to be craving something else, something way, way older. And for the longest time, this was just intuition, a feeling. But scientists in Japan, a place with these super dense cities, but also this deep cultural love for nature, they decided that intuition just wasn't good enough. They wanted to go beyond the feeling and actually measure what happens to our biology when we swap the city for the forest. So this whole scientific push really focused on a formal practice, one that actually puts a name to that deep down need we have to connect with nature. It's called forest bathing, and we are about to break down the science behind it.
The Japanese term is Shinrin-Yoku, which was coined way back in 1982. It literally translates to forest bathing. Now, let's be super clear. This is not about a hardcore hike or getting your cardio in. It has nothing to do with counting steps or calories. It's all about consciously, intentionally connecting with the forest using all 5 of your senses.
In fact, the official definition from the Japanese government is simply making contact with and taking in the atmosphere of the forest. That's it. It's all about intentional immersion. It's about slowing way down and just being there.
All right, so with this practice clearly defined, researchers in Japan got to work. They set out to design this huge, really rigorous experiment to see if the effects were actually measurable. They wanted to put that good feeling under a powerful scientific microscope. And the way they designed the study was just brilliant in its simplicity. It was a straight-up head-to-head comparison. You have one group taking a quiet walk in a forest and another group taking a walk for the exact same amount of time, but in a busy city center. Super simple, super direct, and, as we'll see, incredibly powerful. And get this, they did this on a massive scale. We're not talking about a small one-time study here. They ran these experiments in 24 different forests with 280 participants. And they took all these super detailed physiological and psychological measurements. But here's the kicker. To make it even more solid, they used a cross-check design. That means every single person in the study experienced both the city walk and the forest walk. This totally eliminates personal biases. Yeah, this is some serious science. Okay, so after all that incredibly careful setup, what did they actually find? I mean, what really happens to your body when you step among the trees? Let's look at the data. Well, to put it lightly, the results were not subtle at all. The data showed these huge, significant, and almost immediate changes right across the board.
Okay, first up, cortisol. You've probably heard of it. It's your body's main stress hormone. Too much of it for too long is linked to all sorts of health issues. Well, after just a short walk in the forest, the participants' cortisol levels dropped by almost 16% compared to when they walked in the city. That is a massive physiological shift away from stress. And it wasn't just the stress hormone. Their basic vital signs were telling the exact same story. Their average pulse rate and their blood pressure both dropped a lot in the forest compared to the city. You could literally see their bodies physically calming down in real time. Now, this next one is super fascinating. It's a metric called heart rate variability, or HRV. So think of it this way. A stressed out heart beats like a really rigid metronome. Tick-tock, tick-tock. But a relaxed heart? It's more like a jazz drummer. It's flexible, it's adaptable. There are all these tiny little variations between the beats. A higher variability, or HRV, is a huge sign that your nervous system is chilling out in what's called rest and digest mode. And just look at this number. Whoa! The researchers found a 102% increase in parasympathetic nerve activity. That's the scientific term for that rest and digest system during the forest walk. 102%. This isn't just a small nudge. This is a gigantic physiological shift into a state of deep, deep calm and recovery. But the changes weren't just physical, right? They were happening inside their heads too. The researchers used a standard mood test, and it showed that after being in the forest, people reported feeling way less tension, less anger, and less fatigue. It was a huge drop compared to how they felt in the city. And here's the other side of that coin. It wasn't just about getting rid of the bad feelings. The forest environment actually boosted the good ones. Feelings of vigor, energy, vitality, those feelings actually went up after the forest walk. And what happened after the city walk? They went down. Pretty amazing. So the evidence here is just crystal clear. Being in a forest measurably lowers your stress, calms your body right down, and boosts your mood. But that leads us to the biggest question of all. Why? Why on earth does this happen? Well, the main theory from the researchers really boils down to this incredibly simple but profound idea. For 99.9% of our history as a species, we lived in nature. It's our home, our bodies, our nervous systems, our fight or flight responses, all of it is perfectly tuned and adapted to a natural environment. These modern cities we've built, in evolutionary terms, they are a totally brand new, almost alien environment that our bodies might just see as a source of constant low-level stress. So when you think about it like that, the effects of forest bathing aren't magic at all. It's just biology. It's the logical, expected result of putting our bodies back where they were designed to be. It's like we're just returning to our factory settings. You could even say that nature is a form of medicine, one that's written deep inside our DNA. So what's the takeaway here? The science is pretty undeniable. Spending time in nature measurably lowers our stress hormones. It calms our heart, it flips our nervous system into rest mode, and it genuinely makes us feel better. This proves that nature isn't just some nice-to-have scenery. It's absolutely essential for our well-being. So in this world of ours, which is getting more and more full of screens and concrete, the real question isn't if we need a forest, it's how will you find yours?